This is KG5IN. Today I wanted to go ahead and go over how to set up your Baofeng UV-5R utilizing Windows 10. Windows 7 was the way things were done before, and I have an older video which I'll put in the description showing on how to do the installation on utilizing Windows 7. But since everything seems to be moving towards the Windows 10 version of Windows, we're going to go ahead and do the setup utilizing Windows 10. Beginning of next year, Windows 7 will be unsupported by Microsoft, which means there's going to be security support and all that stuff, which is going to be no longer. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and try to set this up and run through the whole process. So in my case, my laptop doesn't come with a DVD drive or CD drive or anything like that at all. It's actually just USB ports, and that's it. They took all the space out of it to utilize that space for batteries and other things. But in order for me to get the drivers, I had to actually find a portable USB CD or DVD drive that I could plug in to a USB port so I could get this software and the drivers off of the Baofeng little disc that comes with the Baofeng cable. And if you need to know what that cable looked like, I'm going to show you right here. Anyways, with that cable, you will successfully be able to program your radio. So first things first is, if you don't have a DVD drive or CD drive and you have the cable and the software on a disk, don't worry about it. I will include the links below in the description. So all you have to do is click on the links and you can download the software there. That way it makes it a lot easier and you get through your life a little bit faster instead of having to go hunt one down and get a DVD drive. Unnecessary. With that said, once you've downloaded the software and you've got everything set up on your computer ready to rock and roll as far as the downloads, I'm going to walk through how to set it up. So since my computer hasn't been set up yet, I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up the File Explorer. Now, a lot of these computers nowadays, they don't even come with it. So or sometimes it won't be displayed here, but you can just click on this little circle. Sometimes yours will be a little search bar at the bottom, and you just type in File, and you'll see something that says File Explorer. Those are two ways to get to this same area that I'm at. I scrolled down to the bottom to where I saw the DVD drive. You're not going to have to do that. You're going to be in a section where you're going to be in Downloads. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and show it like as if you were setting it up from a DVD. One of the things we want to look for is the drivers that are specifically for Windows installation. And if you notice, they're all in .rar or zip, okay? So the first file that we're going to look for is the set of drivers. Now, the thing that's nice about this is things come a long ways. Beforehand, it was just all in Chinese. And of course, they're sending this to Americans or other people around the world that don't speak or read Chinese at all. So they've been so kind as to go ahead and actually give you other options now. So this is pretty neat. So basically, I've got the Baofeng UV-5R, okay? And what I'm going to do is look for the software for the UV-5R, which I don't see it here at all, except for right here where it says ENG, so on and so forth. This looks like a 64-bit version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this out to my desktop. I'm grabbing the 64-bit version because my computer is 64-bit. If you want to know what version your computer is, all you have to do is scroll up here to where you see this PC, you right click on it and you go to Properties. Right here in the Properties, you can see whether it'll say System Type, and if it's 32-bit, it'll say 86. If it's 64-bit, it'll say 64. Sometimes it'll say 86 or 32-bit, but mine's 64-bit. So I know I need the 64-bit version. Now that I've got it here on my desktop, I won't be able to open it just yet because I don't have anything to extract it with. Sometimes you can actually get the RAR for free or trial. And so what I'm going to do is exactly that. I'm going to go search for download RAR extractor. Okay. And since I'm not connected to my Wi-Fi here, I'm going to reconnect. I don't know why that happened. Oh, you know why? That's because the laptop did an update. Windows 10 decided to get rid of that for me. Thank you very much, Windows 10. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the RAR extractor. WinZip has a version of that built into it. So actually, if you go to winzip.com, such as this right here, and you just say free download, there it is. It's getting ready to download. It's downloaded. Open up, say yes. Very harmful to my computer. Thank you very much. Just kidding. Now hit next. We're going to wait for this download to complete. And it's almost done. So sometimes these take a few minutes. If your laptop's older, doesn't have as much RAM or whatever, there's a lot of factors into the computer being slow, sometimes faster than this. I know I've got a problem on my computer, but anyways, it says thank you for installing. You say finish. Go ahead and just close these, minimize that. And days left in free trial, 21 days. Use the evaluation version is what we're going to be doing. Now, if you notice, let me go ahead and minimize this guy right here, hit close on that. You've got this right here. Don't necessarily need that open, so I'm just going to close it. Now it's going to say, hey, thanks for choosing. Yeah, thanks. Anyways, what I'm going to do here is click on this, right click on it, and I'm going to say WinZip, unzip to here. So use the evaluation version. And voila, it's downloaded and unzipped all the files right here inside this folder. So that's kind of nice, you know, everything's nice and hunky-dory inside of one little spot. So I'm going to open up this folder, and there we are. We have that setup and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to click on setup. I'm going to say yes to this wonderful warning. I'm going to say OK, and begin the installation by clicking the button below. So we're going to click on that. Yeah, that looks like a good spot to stick it. Just say yes. A file being copied is not newer than the currently. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it anyways. I've already downloaded this before, so whatever. Anyways, the other thing that I'm not seeing right now are the actual little cable drivers. And so what I'm going to try to do is find the Baofeng drivers that I need in order to utilize this little cable here. And since they've changed things around quite a bit, it's going to be a little harder to find. You know, it's so funny. It's probably something within this. And waiting. Yes. Unzip. Anyways, all right. So now what I'm going to do is grab my USB cable that I purchased on Amazon for the Baofeng UV-5R. Now, the one thing you want to look out for is you want the cable that actually says Baofeng on it, okay? And I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. Plus, I'll include the link on Amazon down below, and that way you could easily find it online. So I'm going to plug it in now. There you go. Nice little ding telling you that it's in, setting up. And in order for us to figure out what COM port it's plugged into, we're going to go ahead and find that. So what we're going to do is go to this PC, right click, go to Manage, go to Device Manager, shows you a beautiful list of all kinds of stuff. And here we actually have the USB serial. What I'm going to do is, because it's in this area, it's not specifically set up yet. So I'm going to right click on it, go to Properties. And I'm sorry, I know I went kind of fast. So to get there, you open up your folder, okay? Scroll down to where you see this PC, right click, go to Manage, wait for a second, click on Device Manager, scroll down here to where you see Other Devices. And in some cases, if you get lucky, it'll show up here as well. USB serial CH340 is what it's called. Anyways, if you see it here and it hasn't shown up over here yet, then we need to get it to show up there. And one way to do that is we actually have to sorry, got a lot of things going on right now. We have to click on it, right click on it, and go to Update Driver. Then that's where you would actually run into, for an example, right here, browse my computer for the driver software, so on and so forth. You click on this, click on Browse, go to, wherever you put your files. So for an example, some of these could be on your desktop right here, and then you hit OK, and it'll sometimes run and do the install. So here we are, USB serial. It's on COM8. So now I know what COM port it's on. So the next thing we're going to do is download the software that we need, okay, in order for us to be able to set everything up. And if you scroll through here, a lot of things have changed since the last time they've done stuff, but you go download the latest build of CHIRP here. I've already downloaded it, and here it is. So I'm going to just click on that. Close everything else. I'm going to say yes. And one of these days it's going to pop up and start the install. I'll go ahead and pause it for right now. And it finally decided to go ahead and show up. So now I'm going to hit next. I agree. Install. And voila. There it goes. It's installing. And this will take a few seconds, sometimes a little bit longer. Then you click on Finish. Once that's done, you already have the software installed, pretty much ready to go to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to find the CHIRP software, so we click on the Start button here. And of course, wonderful stuff here. Click on that. We're going to find CHIRP right here. There's the CHIRP software right here. That's what we need. Open that. Okay. And I don't have the radio connected yet, but I'm going to go ahead and record this as I do it from the phone so you can see how it's done. So here we go. I've got the cable plugged into the USB port onto the side of the computer here. There we go. And here's the radio. And if you look at the other end of this cable, that's exactly what it looks like. That's the part that says Baofeng. And I'm just going to set this on its side, literally doing this one-handed again. It's funny how I end up doing that. The bigger portion of this cable goes into the lower bottom part like this, to where the cable is pointing upward. Then you shove it all the way in there, plug it in just like that. Voila, that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. And you're supposed to turn the radio on and the volume all the way up. Now don't worry, because it's not going to make any noise. The noise is supposed to be going through the cable, and same with the microphone, all that stuff is going through the cable now because that's how it listens. So anyways, now I've got it like this. Go ahead and put it on a station that's not making any noise. Try to find the most empty station that you can find, especially if you're in an area where it's very crowded. Once you've done that, then you're ready for the next step. So now we're going to click on radio, download from radio. We're going to make sure it's COM8. So there we go, bam. You're going to choose the type of radio that you have installed. So for an example, the Baofeng, the UV-5R, and there's all your other options. So if you have other radios, it might be very similar on the setup. I need to try it with other radios, but I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And look at that, it's cloning. Okay, so it's working perfectly. And if we look at the radio, you're going to see the little light flashing. It's a little red light. It's right below the VFO-MR button. And now, if you look at the computer, you're going to see all the different frequencies. Okay, and this is a very neat part because now we can actually just go through and program every single frequency that we need right here. Makes your life a million times easier. Now in the last video I showed you guys how to do this, but I will show you on this, being that this is a new video, a new start. So in order for us to get all the frequencies that we want, we're going to make it a lot easier instead of doing them one by one. Now there might be a couple one-offs that you want to do, just say you're doing a simplex or whatever. You can just go ahead and type that here. You can put the name of it and so on and so forth, like John Smith, something like that, or whatever you want to call it, and then you could save it. But in order for us to go ahead and actually get the data that we want a lot faster, I'm going to go to Query Data Source, and Repeater Book is typically my most favorite location to go. There's a couple other options that you can choose, which is political query or a proximity query. Now, proximity, you can say location. Oops, sorry about that. Of course, everything wants to make a lot of noise. Okay, so I'm going to say Dallas, distance, 100 miles, band, and I'm just going to say 2 meter for right now. Then I'm going to hit OK. And there we go. So if I go to this tab at the top over here, here's every single thing within, 100 miles of Dallas, okay? And that's 95, close to 95 stations. Actually, I think if we back up over here, 0 is not counted. So the next thing we could do is copy all these locations over to the radio. And the way we do that is, sorry about that. Everything here wants making a lot of noise. Anyway, sorry about that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to copy just all of these, okay? So I'm just going to select a handful right here, just give you an example. Hold the shift button, there you go. And then if you hit Control-C on your keyboard, come over to this other tab. We'll start here, or start anywhere you want. Hit Control-V and say yes, yes, yes. Wow, so it's a little different this time. Or actually, I can just say all. Okay, okay. There you go. So some of these aren't compatible, but that's fine. So basically now that I've got everything the way I need it, this is actually going to be perfectly fine. So now I want to go ahead and write all these stations that I copied to the radio. So now I'm going to click on radio, and I'm going to say upload to radio. Click on that, same COM port, and hit OK. And if you notice, I'll go ahead and show this on the cell phone here. There we go. We see the green light flashing. That shows that the radio is actually receiving the data. And so I'll keep this camera going on here just so you can kind of see how it goes. And we're done. That's it. So very simple. I mean, it's a long process, you know. This is a 20-minute video basically, but you know, at least you get to see it. So now we're going to go through and flip through a lot of these stations that I have programmed on this, and this is super cool because it just makes your life so much easier, you know. So I'm going to click on memory, see if you see it right there, and we'll just flip through. And there are all of the stations that I programmed. Pretty neat, right? So a lot easier to program your whole entire radio. And it works hopefully that simple for you. If you have any problems or anything like that, definitely feel free to go ahead and put a comment below. Please like, please subscribe. I'm about 160 subscribers to go before reaching 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Once I'm able to reach 1,000 subscribers, I can actually monetize and start getting paid for these videos that I create. Anyways, I hope this helps a lot of you, and if it does, please, like I said, like, subscribe, and I'll have some more videos coming to the near future. Thank you so much, and you all have a good one. This is KG5IN, and I'll call it clear and 7 threes.